All right, ladies and gentlemen, our next guest rocks. You've seen him on that metal show and Crank Anchors, and he will be here at Governor's Comedy Club this weekend, April 22nd and 23rd. Here he is, the hilarious Jim Florentine. Jim, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I haven't been to Governors in a while, man. I miss that club.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Great.
Like, when's the last time you've been out here on the island?
Well, I did, we were touring with that Creeps with Kids tour with me, Bobby Kelly, and Ron Bennington and Rich Voss.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So we did a few different Long Island dates. We were kind of staying at the market just because we're doing that, the theaters and stuff. So it's definitely been before the pandemic that I've been back to Governors.
Yeah, man. We're psyched to have you back, dude. You're one of a favorite here. You just jive well. I think it's something with the Jersey guys, New York guys, just jive well with us Long Islanders, man.
Yeah, we're dicks. We're like lovable dicks is what we are.
Yeah.
Long Island gets that, and Jersey gets that, and all that stuff, and other places like why are they so angry? It's like sorry.
Yeah. That's the edge that we have over here, man, in the East Coast, especially Northeast or where we are. And and I think like I was, your special that's available on YouTube, people can check it out, Bite the Bullet. It really kind of gets in on some of that, kind of the struggles of the straight white male in this era.
Yeah, I know. We're becoming extinct.
My neighbor invited me to one, right? He goes, he's 2 doors down. He calls me up. Yeah, we're going to have a gender reveal party. Yeah, we're going to reveal the gender of the baby at the party. I go, well, just tell me over the phone. I'm on the phone with you right now. What is it? I got 2 guesses, right?
Yeah, the only way to get a special is to be a Jasmine Florentine.
yeah, to basically transition. It's great. Well, whatever. It's like, you could find your own way. You could do it all yourself if you know how to work social media and get your stuff out there, and you're still a good comic. Because those people that are all offended and all, they're not coming to the comedy clubs.
Exactly, man.
They're not coming out. They never did. So we're just getting exposed to more people that aren't into that style of comedy. It's on their radar, which was never before. Like before social media, they had no clue unless they came to the comedy club and saw. But so now you're playing to an audience that doesn't understand your humor. They get offended and all that other stuff. And
dude, I think it's gonna rebound. The pendulum's gonna swing back. I think people want the truth in a way, and they don't want things sugar coated. And if you ever watch any like woke comedy, it's not funny. It's too careful.
I don't know. Everyone keeps saying the pendulum's going to swing back, but it's getting worse and worse every year. So people have been saying that for like the last 7-8 years. Now it's going to swing back. I don't see it happening unless there's like some kind of social media platform that could be as big as Twitter that could, you could basically do whatever you want there and not get suspended or thrown off the network. And I don't know if that's going to happen because still the big tech companies own all like the apps and stuff like that, like Apple and stuff like that could just take your app down. Remember that one, there was one that Trump won, not the Trump one, but there was one before that. They just shut it down before the election.
Yeah, they found a way just to shut down the whole, like if it was coming through Apple apps or whatever, they shut down that whole
They shut
thing.
down, and the credit card with the money, they could, the companies will shut down the credit card, a PayPal, and all that stuff. So it's like, it's rigged against it. But once again, like the comedy clubs, the crowds love it. Yeah, and it's definitely taking a turn at a comedy club. People are like, good, finally someone could talk about this nonsense that's going on and we can laugh about it. We could do it in this dark comedy club, but we can't do it really anywhere else anymore because we might get fired.
Yeah, we're back to the days where like my dad, when he would listen to Red Fox records or something, I'd do it in, secret, and, in his bedroom or whatever, listening to these Red Fox albums. We're getting back to there, but I think, with Elon Musk trying to fight and get Twitter back and stuff like that, I feel like we're making headway. And when you see some of these left comics, all of a sudden, like Bill Maher is starting to say, that this is ridiculous. We had Judy Gold on the other day. She has a whole book about it. And these are, the left side of things. And so I think once both sides are agreeing on one you know, that this is too far with you know, freedom of speech issues and canceling people if you don't agree with them. I think we're hopefully getting to the end of that.
Yeah, you know, look, Bill Maher made a good point. He goes, look, I've always been a liberal and a Democrat, but you guys went way far left. I've stayed the same. So now all of a sudden you think I'm a conservative because you know, I still have the same values as I did 10 years ago. You guys are so far left. I'm like, no, this is ridiculous. So you know, who would have thought that it would have become to this? It usually was like the old religious right. It was the religious people that hated like Howard Stern and wanted to throw him off the air. It was just such a small percentage of the population, like, yeah, whatever. You know, and now it's like, you know, it's half the country. But it's funny because when that happens to like the liberals, if they get censored, all of a sudden they have a problem with it. Before they didn't have a problem with it.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
they're like, good, yeah, you need to lose his job. He said a bad word. Good, he needs to go away. Good, good. And then it happens to them, like, well, we're going too far. You guys started this.
Right. Yeah.
If you would have just stood up right from the beginning and said, no, that person, even though you don't like his views, could still say something, you know, inappropriate. You're the one who pushed them out. And now all of a sudden it's come back on you. And you're like, wait a minute, this isn't fair.
Exactly.
Like the Roseanne shit, you know what I mean? Like Roseanne put those tweets out. It's like, so she loses the whole TV show and all comics that worked on the show decide I'm going to leave the show now. It's like, you guys started this shit.
Exactly. Exactly. The same happened with Whoopi recently. All of a sudden that they're going after her for the comments she made about, you know, Jewish people or whatever. And then the left is in an uproar defending her.
Right.
So,
like, hey, you know, she's allowed to say that. I can't believe they suspended her. Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm sorry, you guys started this. The View spends, you know, an hour a day talking about how people need to be censored, kick them off this platform. Good. They should go away. They're bad people. And then Whoopi says something outrageous like that. That's not fair.
exactly. Dude, it's so blatant. It's crazy these days. And the world is just nuts. I don't know if you've been watching this Johnny Depp thing, but I don't know if you can get canceled for it, but Johnny Depp, I don't know if you watch any of it, but man, he's a pussy.
I haven't been. I know it's all over the place. I haven't been following it too much. It's like, I don't know. I mean, you know, look, his reputation definitely was tarnished, and he lost the Pirates of Caribbean movies because she said he was hitting her and stuff like that. But it's like, at this point, do you want to air all that dirty laundry out there and get on the stand and all that stuff? Look, he has to be sympathetic on the stand. I don't know what's going. I know what he's saying about his childhood. He got abused or something like that, but you have to play that card if you're going to take the stand. You can't just be some like macho dude up there go, I didn't hit her.
Yeah, he was talking about like that Amanda Heard would torment him and bully him and throw stuff at him, and he had to hide in the bathroom, and he slept overnight in the bathroom floor. And then they were in the airplane, and she was antagonizing him on the airplane, so he went in the airplane bathroom and stayed there the whole flight and stuff like that. So it's just,
yeah, well, you know, look, when you got a crazy woman like that, you better hide because she's going to hit you, and at some point you might hit her back because she's got a knife or something like that. So he's like, let me just go sleep in the bathroom. I've left where I've had a fight with a girlfriend or whatever, where I just got a hotel room. I'm like, this could get bad, so I'm just going to leave the situation.
Yeah, I guess that is.
So a crazy woman like that, you know, he doesn't know what she's going to do. He goes, let me just hide in the bathroom. I can't ruin my career over this dumb bitch.
That's a good point. See, you brought it to light now. Yeah. Yeah,
so I think that's what it was. She just keep pushing his buttons, you know, and yeah. So you know, and plus, look, when they're doing a ton of drugs and drinking, it gets crazy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's just pure chaos.
Yeah, you know, it made me like go, wow, maybe it's, you know, being extremely rich and famous isn't all it's cracked out to be. And then I was like, nah, I still wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
At least the really rich part. But yeah, man, and that I was, you know, through the years, man, I've always been a fan of yours, and you have one of the best episodes on Louis that I ever saw, and it all came down to the fart scene, and how there's two different types of these comics, you know, like, and I just love how you brought that to that whole scene came about, like, you know, you telling me farts, you never laughed at a fart, and Louis breaks down crying, and he's like, oh, I laughed at every single fart I've ever saw. And he was kind of more this highbrow comic and didn't want to his lowbrow fart jokes. But
what, you don't like farts, Mr. New Yorker? Is that what it is? You gonna sit there and tell me farts aren't funny? Sir, look me in the eye and tell me farts aren't funny. Come on. Look me in the eye. Dude. What? Oh, man. Dude, what are you doing? You crying? Oh, God. Dude. Jesus. Oh, Louie, here. Here, wipe your face. Here, take this. Here, I only came in it twice. Dude, you want me to go? I'll go, man. No, seriously, I'll go. Dude, take a deep breath, something. Let it out, let it out. What? What do you want? What? Tell me.
I love fart jokes. Farts are hilarious.
What?
Farts are funny. Of course farts are funny.
See, I told you. I knew it. I knew
They
it.
make a little toot noise and they come out of your asshole.
But first of all, I love that scene. I think it's very strong and it says a lot in a way. What's your take on that? Like these two different types where in the end it's all what's funny, right?
Yeah, well, Louis, Louis I have a prank. Louis loves my prank calls. I guess he hears my serious, and there was one called Turds, where telemarketers call my house. This guy's trying to sell me some septic system, and I say my toilet's so full of turds that I have to take an upper decker. He's like, "What's that?" I go, "I have to take the top of the lid off the tank and shit up there." He's like, "Oh wow!" And Louis just thought that was hilarious, the upper decker. So, cut to like 4 years later, he sees me one night. He goes, "Dude," he goes, we started talking. He goes, "I have a perfect role for you for my TV show. I just thought of a great idea." I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "Oh man, I'm gonna get back to you." And then cut to like now 2 years later, he writes a script. He said, "Dude, I want you to play this. I want you to read it. I think you could play this. Plus, you've been on the road a long time. I'm sure you shared comedy condos. Maybe we talked about that before." And I'm like, "God," I read it. I'm like, "Oh, this is perfect." And I'm like, "I know this guy that I had to play that shared a comedy condo with. He's killing on stage with doing shitty local jokes and shit and fart jokes on stage. And you have to follow him as the headliner." And, and at the point where they're like, "Hey, we're going to cut your time. You're going to go on last," all this other stuff. So I'm like, I know this guy because I've been Louis in that condo where I got to share with this annoying guy. He won't shut the fuck up. He's loud. I'm just hiding in my room. I'm like, this sucks. I feel like I'm in prison. So I'm like, "Louis, I know this guy. Believe me, I can play him." Yeah, and it's just you get that. I've been on the road where that happens, where you got some guy in front of you, doing all these, easy jokes and stuff like that. So I'm like, and I went back to when I first started. I was looking through my old notebooks when I started. I'm like, I had all these fart and shit jokes because you think you're a genius. You're getting cheap laughs playing in bars. So I was just doing like old material. It goes, "Just do the worst material before me." I'm like, "Okay, fine." And we filmed that at Governor's too, the comedy scenes.
Oh yeah, that's right, man.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's awesome, man. So we bring it all back. That's
And then
great.
he brings the upper decker in. We start partying, and then he's puking in the toilet. I'm sitting on top of the toilet tank, and I fall and I hit my head and I die.
Yeah, that's how
Right.
you die.
Yeah.
You die doing the upper decker, the legendary upper decker, man.
I got submitted for an Emmy for that role. I didn't get nominated, but they submitted my as best like supporting actor for a TV show or whatever. But imagine if I would have been up for it and would have won for taking an upper decker on TV.
Would have been.
I've been doing that for years. Me and my friends, we just go take upper deckers,
Dude.
at an Applebee's or a Dunkin' Donuts or something, and just leave. So,
Dude, you inspire. I saw the Meet the Creeps back in the day, and the upper decker. That's where I first learned about the upper decker. I've done upper deckers because I was inspired by you.
Typically happens with an upper decker is once you flush, it goes right into the toilet. So the crap is going to come from the tank into the toilet. Oh, this is going to be brutal.
Yeah, it was good times, man. And the upper decker, people got to watch the Meet the Creeps just to see an upper decker actually in action. You see what happens.
Oh yeah, that's hardcore. I know.
When you flush so for people who don't know what an upper decker is, basically you go to the bathroom inside the tank part, the upper part of the toilet. So you're sitting on top of it, and you're basically pooping inside of the tank. Then when you flush the normal toilet, actual like shit comes out from the tank, and so you know it's
Yeah,
just,
little pieces float into the toilet from every time you flush it.
it's just so legendary, man.
It's, but yeah, no, it was fun to do, you know. And then Louis, and then Louis, gets in trouble, and then they take all of his stuff off all the streaming services, and they still haven't brought that show back, which is weird because the Lucky Louie show they did on HBO
Yeah,
is on Amazon Prime. I watched it with Jim Norton was in it. It was great.
yeah, it was a great
But they
show.
didn't bring back the Louis, and meanwhile, like Hulu has all FX shows on there, the old FX shows, and they won't put the Louis episode, the Louis TV series up there.
That's
So
what
I'm
I
hoping
mean.
people could see it because that was the last episode he ever did.
Oh, that was,
TV show, yeah.
wow, I didn't realize that. So not only was that such a great episode that I loved it, but it was shot at Governor's, and it was the last Louis episode ever made.
Yeah, so hopefully they'll go back up there so more people could see it, the episode.
Dude, they that's what we talk about, like this cancel culture stuff, with whatever Louis did, however people view it, you know what I mean? I think the guy's paid his dues. He just won a Grammy. I mean, I think it's time to get him back on, into the mainstream again. Let him have his show. The guy's brilliant, genius.
They won't do it at this point, but Louis just does it himself. I guess he just did a movie about Joe List, his wife, life. They filmed that. It's coming out soon, so he'll put it on his website or whatever. And he's still selling out friggin' theaters. He put out 2 amazing comedy specials in the last 2.5 years. So he's back to just being a comic and being in the clubs and theaters. And it's like, at that point, it's like, what else do you need in this business? Like, he already did everything.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think he wants to be back in Hollywood again. I haven't talked to him about it, but I just really think that, like, after they completely turned his back on him, he was Hollywood royalty. And then this stuff comes out and nobody wants to talk to him. And they just threw him under the bus and just completely ignored him. He's like, wait a minute, I thought you kind of were my friends, but I guess you weren't. Meanwhile, most of the comics stuck with him. Like, hey, we had no problem. You did some weird stuff. You're a fucking weirdo, which most comics are.
Yeah, but and that says a lot, right? So about the Hollywood turned their back on the guy. The comics stayed with him, and and he's going to stay true to his real friends. They always say, you find out who your friends are when you're in trouble, right?
Yeah. Well, most comics stood with him, not all.
Yeah, it's such a weird, like you said, thing, how it went down, what happened, but the fact that everybody knew about it and no one, for years and years, and then it became an issue, later on. But it's good that Louis is doing his own way. He doesn't have to answer to anybody.
It's great, and he's the one who set the platform originally when he said, "Here's my special, pay $5 for it. I'll put it on my website."
Exactly.
So all the comment, that's perfect. So if you can't get a Netflix or an HBO special or Comedy Central, you just do it yourself.
Right on.
Your fans, So he started that stuff, which is great.
And now, did you ever get like with Crank Anchors? I actually bought a what do they call, Cameo from you a while ago from Special Ed, doing something for my podcast a while ago, like 2 years ago or so. It was great. You had me and Benny Rizzuti, like, yeah, Benny's old and Don has great hair or something.
I remember when I saw that, I remembered your name. I was like, I know that name. I wasn't exactly sure because I knew, so no, I do remember doing that one because I saw Don Sill. Like, how the fuck do I know that?
Yeah, and I interviewed you years ago when you did Meet the Creeps and stuff. We did a phoner back then, and I met your Governor.
Work for Good Times?
Yeah, Good Times magazine. Yeah, exactly.
Wow, I pulled that out of my ass.
Wow, dude, that's awesome. Yeah, Good Times.
Because I just met John. Is it Glenn or Glenn?
John Blenn. Yeah, great guy.
He came to one of the Creeps for Kids shows out Long Island.
Yeah,
I don't think we ever met before, so we were talking and stuff about the old days. I used to love that paper. I don't know if it's still around, but whenever I went to Long Island, did the clubs, it was great.
Yeah, Good Times still exists. Yeah, they're still doing their thing. Yeah, I haven't written for them in a while. I bounced around a little bit. Left New York for a little while, whatever. I'm back now. But yeah, and John Bland, he came up through Good Times also, and he's kind of the guy that inspired me to start writing back then too. So it's a
right,
great guy. Yeah, and I love that paper. It's still rocking, still doing something. It's like 50 something years in print
It's
now.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, man, I'm so stoked that you're coming back. Now it looks like, that you're stand up. Now you're kind of talking a lot more about the family life, you and your son, stuff like that. I think you got to pull from what you know. When did you start focusing on family, or is that something you always did, or is this kind of new?
No, it was always like whatever's going on in my life. And before I had a kid, I wasn't really talking about it, but I'm like, there's so much material there. I try not to be like, do like dad jokes or whatever like that. This stuff I say is pretty outrageous.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not gonna just be some cute kid humor. It's got to be, completely out there, or I'm just not gonna do it. So, no, but it's part of my life. So I've always talked about whatever's going on in my life, whether I'm single, married, moving. A couple specials ago, I talked about moving back to the suburbs and living in a neighborhood with like normal people, which I never thought I would. And I was petrified of that, like, oh man, how's this gonna work? They're not gonna understand me. As a comic, you just like, you live in an apartment, but you don't live in a neighborhood with a picket fence and cutting lawns and shit like that. So
Yeah, you used
was
to
a
like the
big,
city life. Yeah.
yeah, that was a big adjustment for me and stuff. But I love it, I just, and I love being a dad too. It's great because it gives you something else besides comedy to focus on.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a hobby or whatever, like a comic or something going on in their life to keep them busy where they're just not focusing on stand up all the time. So I can just turn that off and, and be a dad and hang and stuff like that and go to his games and shit like that too.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, it's becoming normal in a way. Like
At some point, look, yeah, my 20s and 30s, I just, it was all about me and I'm just doing sets every night and working, didn't care. Didn't have a girlfriend, rarely saw my family and stuff like that. I'm just like, I'm trying to make it and that's all I care about. And then it got to a point where like, okay, I already did all of that stuff. I don't need to work 6-7 nights a week, doing 2-3 sets a night. I need a break from that. It's like I've done it for a long time and stuff. So, and you enter a different phase in your life.
Yeah, man. Like you said, you did it all, dude. Like throughout your career, you've pretty much done it. Is there anything left on your list, like for the career that you want to achieve, or are you just happy with how life is right now?
Everything's good. I mean, yeah, you could always, I guess, you want another, comedy special on like a Netflix or an HBO or something like that. I don't know if it'll happen at this point, but if not, I've always done it, myself. And if someone else wants to pick it up or is interested, that's fine. When I started doing the prank calls and telemarketer shit, I put that on my own. I said, let me just get it out there, see what happens. Howard Stern started playing. I started going at his show. Then I got the Crank Angus gig from that, so, and then with the comedy, I just put it out. And then sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, but it's better to just do it yourself instead of waiting around.
Yeah, true indeed. Like,
So I put that special out, put it free on Netflix, I mean, on YouTube. My last, but now I'm back in the clubs working on a new set, and then we'll see what happens in 2 years when I'm ready for, a new set to be filmed. Maybe there's an avenue to pick it up. If not, I'll put it out myself again.
Yeah, man. Awesome. And have you ever thought, like, are you trying to pursue acting more, or are you just waiting for things? If they come to you, you'll take it, or is it?
Yeah,
I think you were great on that Louis, man.
Yeah, it's just, a middle-aged white male. There's not too many roles for me. Thank God that wasn't where I was making my money, and my career, because they're drying up for everybody, especially like with commercials and all that stuff. So they kind of push you aside, which is fine. I don't care.
Right,
I don't want to work for any like corporation or be told what to do. And oh my God, you got to do this and don't say that. It's like, I don't know. If it happens, it happens, but I'm not actively seeking it out.
Right on. Yeah, I hear you, man. And yeah, and like with that metal show, dude, we had we talked to Florentine a little while ago. We did a top five unintentionally funny rock bands. And that was pretty good. Pretty good stuff. I learned about Mac Sabbath. You ever hear that band?
Oh yeah, I haven't seen them, but I know they do. Yeah, there's a bunch of there's like Nerd Halen, where they're nerds, but they're Van Halen too. Yeah, I haven't seen those guys either, but yeah, there's a bunch of those kind of like
Dread Zeppelin. Yeah.
Yeah, Dread Zeppelin. They've been around for a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
Reggae Zeppelin.
No, so yeah, everybody's got to check out all your stuff, man. And come on out to Governors this weekend. This is going to be awesome. 2 nights here. What could people expect when they come out and see a Jim Florentine show?
Dick jokes.
There you have it, folks.
Yeah.
Jim, you rock, man. Thanks again, and hopefully you stop in. We normally, I won't be there on Saturday, but normally on Saturday nights we have our podcast studios open. Just pop right on in and hang out, man. It'd be great to see you in person.
Yeah, you won't be there Friday either then?
I'll probably be stopping in Friday, but we won't have the show.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Stop in, say hello, definitely, yeah. And
Yeah,
I'll come
man.
in Saturday after, during the show, or whatever is going on there.
Awesome. Yeah, Tony and Sally will be in there, and it'll be good times. But I appreciate you taking the time doing this. Can't wait to see you this weekend, bro. And yeah, man. And I'm psyched that you remembered me.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
All right, take care, man.
All right. Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
You got it. Jim Florentine, everybody, this weekend. Check it out.